The following program, The Lightning Strike, is sponsored by Mohammed Fahim, and to the extent applicable, their guests. The views and opinions expressed therein do not necessarily reflect those of NewsWeb Radio Company or its management.
Get ready to be jolted out of the ordinary and into a world where conversations are charged with intensity and facts. The Lightning Strike Talk Radio with your host, Mohammed Fahim, broadcasting live from the heart of the city on Chicago's Progressive Talk Radio, WCPT 820 AM. Welcome to a radio show that charges through the airwaves with an electricity like no other. Here's your host, Mohammed Fahim.
Good morning, America. You're tuned into the Lightning Strike on WCPT 820 AM, Chicago's Progressive Talk Radio, and the voice of the Heartland. I'm your host, Mohammed Fahim, coming to you live this Sunday morning, not from the heartland of Chicago, but I'm coming to you from Karachi, Pakistan, where I'm traveling. And joining me today are Ken DeLuke.
Howdy, folks.
And we have Dr. Sheila White.
Good morning.
Dolly Silverberg.
Hi, guys.
Our team of Adriana Alvarez, and joining us later on would be former Congresswoman Marie Newman, and also Attorney Maria Mozaffar. Also joining us is Carl Moose, and Reed Bible would be joining us. We got a humdinger of a show lined up for you today. We also have a guest joining us at 8:13. We will bring her on. But today I want to take aim at a subject, folks, that is as old as global politics itself. The Nobel Peace Prize, that shiny golden medallion once meant to honor the champions of peace, human rights, and moral courage. But somewhere along the way, it seems the glow of that medal got tarnished by politics, power, public relations. This week, as the world watched the announcement of yet another Nobel Prize recipient, one fortunately not named Donald J. Trump, the former president did what he does best. He lashed out. He took to Truth Social. What a name for something which is so blatantly not truthful. So he took to Truth Social, crying foul, claiming once again that he should have won it for his historic peace deals and, in quotes, world-saving diplomacy. Now, let's pause right there. Yes, Trump did preside over the Abraham Accords, normalization agreements between Israel, the UAE, and Bahrain. He also likes to remind us every 5 minutes or so that North Korea didn't bomb anyone during his term. But peace isn't just the absence of war. I want to repeat this. Peace isn't just the absence of war. It is the presence of justice, fairness, and human dignity. And on that count, the Nobel Committee, for all its flaws, probably saw through the noise. But here's the bigger question we'll unpack this hour. Has the Nobel Peace Prize itself lost its moral compass? Think about it. Barack Obama got the prize in 2009 before he'd even warmed the chair in the Oval Office. Henry Kissinger, the architect of the bombing of Cambodia, won it in 1973. Even the Ethiopian Prime Minister, Abiy Ahmed, received the honor for peace with Eritrea, only to plunge his country into civil war 2 years later. So when Trump calls the Nobel Peace Prize political, maybe, just maybe, he isn't entirely wrong. Because the Nobel Peace Prize has become a mirror reflecting not just who the world admires, but who the world's elite institutions want to be admired. It's diplomacy meeting pageantry, idealism meeting influence, and sometimes hypocrisy meets history. Yet for all his bluster, Trump's obsession with the prize says more about him than about Oslo. He's not angry because the Nobel Committee got it wrong. He's angry because the world did not applaud him loudly enough. The truth is, the pursuit of peace does not need a medal. It needs humility. It needs empathy. It needs leadership that is rooted not in ego, but in understanding. And maybe that's where the real Peace Prize lies. not in the halls of the Norwegian parliament, but in the hearts of those who keep fighting for peace without expecting a standing ovation. So today, on the lightning strike, we'll dig deeper into the politics of the Nobel Peace Prize. Who decides, who benefits, and who gets let out? We'll also look at Trump's response and what it reveals about the growing intersection between personal glory and global diplomacy. Stay tuned. The lines are open here. You want to call in? Join us at 773-763-9278. And you can leave your thoughts anytime on our message line at 312-857-8182. This is the Lightning Strike, where truth doesn't just whisper, it strikes. And in that note, my rant is finished. Let me bring in Dr. Sheila White to introduce our guest today. And Dr. White, thank you so much for bringing in great guests every single Sunday.
Yeah, today is a special day because it's going to be sunny in Chicago, but we have with us Sanjyot Dungy. She's running for District 8, and we're welcoming her to the lightning strike this morning because there's a lot going on in our world, and we want the lightning to strike here on WCPT Radio. Welcome, Sanjyot. Welcome.
Thank you. Very nice to be here. Good morning to everybody. And thank you to everybody who's listening. And good evening to you, Mohammed, making sure that everybody around the world, we get the right salutations in.
I think Ken wants to ask a question. Ken, what's on your mind?
Well, one thing I wanted to mention, I mean, going back to what you were talking about, the Nobel Peace Prize, I mean, after all, Donald Trump has stopped 7 wars, okay, and including the ones between Azerbaijan and what was it, Albania or something? I mean, it's just, I mean, how can you not give a peace prize to someone that's
Okay.
successful in the world?
Well,
But whatever.
thank you for doing that, Ken. Okay, Sanjyot, 8 district congressional candidates. Dr. White, she's all yours.
Yes, I would like to know a little bit. What are some of the infrastructure improvements that you can expect with your district if you're elected?
Absolutely. I'm happy to talk about what we can do to bring back more of the federal dollars. We send way too much to DC. We don't, I think the calculation is $1.36 that we send. We only get $1 back. So we're being shortchanged. Happy to share some specific ideas. Before I do that, I just want to comment on Mohammed and Ken's note for a quick moment, if you don't mind. Ken, I would say to you, while he's stopped 7 wars globally, he's starting one domestically. So I don't know. We have to sort of weigh that out a little bit in the civil war that he's about to ignite. And I think that this is reflective, and I salute you all for bringing up the discussion of the Nobel Prize. But I think it's also a reflection of what do we value as a society? Show horses or work horses, right? Are we really just about the awards and sort of the accolades, or is it about rolling up your sleeves and actually getting results done? And so I can now jump back to your question, Sheila, and that's sort of probably a good segue a little bit. Infrastructure. So, my platform is based on a couple of key things. So the first is affordability, really making sure that we invest. I have a lifelong learning business, so I'm deeply entrenched in education. I think we need to see how we can be investing in more ways and more pathways for people to get jobs. That means apprenticeships, that means training programs, vocational training programs, whether you're fresh from high school or whether you are mid-career. And having served on Biden's foreign policy working groups, helping to boost small business exports. So a very narrow slice, but very focused on how do we encourage and strengthen our economy. We did a lot with public-private partnerships. And I would look to bring back investment into those. Let's partner with our small businesses. I am a small business. We have almost 19,000 in our district. Let's bring back some of those dollars to help strengthen the businesses and the people they need to hire by giving them the apprenticeships, the vocational training that they need to be able to get the jobs. The second is we really need to make sure that we give people pathways to live and age with dignity. Right now, we we penalize the middle class. Make just a tad bit too much money and you get no resources. My mother was disabled. She had a rare form of muscular dystrophy. I saw this firsthand. We really make it hard for people to live and age with dignity. So let's bring back some of those monies to make sure that we're investing in the resources, give people the resources they need to be able to live in their home, get the help that they need that's income subsidized so that we're not penalizing people. And then
Now
really
you
just, so go ahead.
go ahead.
So,
No, go
so
ahead. I
building
know
up
that
that infrastructure.
Okay, I
you
just
work
wanted
with the
to
National
jump
Small
in
Business
real quick over
Association.
here. We are also live on Facebook on my page. So a lot of people are going to be listening and watching to you speak, Sanjyot, later on, and we'll share the video with you after we edit it. Go ahead, Sheila.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Thank you.
I want to just mention that you're involved with the National Small Business Association. So that's really a heart space for you. Talk a
Yes.
little bit about that because a lot of people in small businesses are suffering with tariffs and a lot of other things going on. So I just want you to elaborate a little bit for those small business owners that are out there that are trying to make it in these trying times.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for that question. Yes, small businesses, entrepreneurship. I actually wrote two books about entrepreneurship. And so this is a passion for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that when we talk about small businesses, let's understand what we really mean. It's anyone from who's a sole proprietor, perhaps you're a consultant, perhaps you're a therapist, anything, all the way up to government classifications of about 50 or 60 million for a manufacturing company. So we're talking about a really big range of companies. And here's the thing, they are the backbone of our communities. They provide all the jobs, they provide the stability, they tend to reinvest in our communities. So strengthening our small business is a win for everyone. I do serve on the National Small Business Association. It is the largest nonpartisan business advocacy. It doesn't matter if you're red or blue, it doesn't matter how you voted. The whole point is what do we need to do to level the playing field? A lot of people work for big companies. That's wonderful. My oldest son does, but they don't need the help. Small businesses need the help, right? We need to level the playing field. So whether it's in taxes or regulation, whether it's in HR and healthcare policy, small businesses want to do the right thing by their employees. Let's make it easier. But I'm also talking a lot now with businesses, and we're focusing on getting ahead of AI and tech policy. Too often, our small businesses are playing defense. We're on one foot backwards, and the big companies, the big tech are setting the rules. No more. We need to be at the table. We need to be saying, how do we protect our data? How do we protect our intellectual property? How do we make sure that small businesses aren't disadvantaged by any of the different rules, regulations? But the ideas, I'm one area in particular, if you don't mind, I'll sort of mention it because it's a big area that I've been focused on. A lot of people may not know. In the 90s, there was a ruling called Section 230. Section 230 allowed the big tech, Google, Facebook, all the big guys, to not have legal liability for what's on their platform. Basically, they said, "Oh, we're small. We don't know. We're just building. We're just pipes." Well, fast forward, they're no longer just pipes. They're creating content. Their algorithms, their AI are pushing content, creating content, yet they still have a liability shield. I'm an author. I have a publishing company. If I publish something that is factually incorrect, I'm liable. My company's liable. Why should they get a liability shield when I don't? It needs to be a level playing field. So we need to relook at these kinds of things and make sure that money is not dominating. We all know that, right? Money is not dominating how policy is set and scheduled.
Sanjot,
You know, it's
one thing which I would really want, I mean, I'm glad we are spending this time with you. First off, thank you so much for joining us,
Thank you.
and thank you,
Thank
Sheila,
you for having me.
for bringing her on. Dolly and Adriana, from your perspective as the leaders of tomorrow, do you have any concerns that you would like to see Sanjot address as a congresswoman when she gets elected? What's on your mind? If you could just unmute and chime in, I want to hear. First, let's go with Adriana this time. We are going in alphabetical order, Dolly.
Um,
Okay.
there's so much because everything has been going on in the world. If anything, The main thing that I would like to see kind of change a little bit more is how people are taking to DEI and the different things, and how maybe that we can bring it back to where it's not something that is seen as taboo as people are trying to make it out to be. So
Okay.
somebody to be a voice and to advocate for it.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break for one of our sponsors, and then so
And
let's come to Adriana's question now. It's 8:25. We got 2 minutes to finish off this segment, and Ken kind of came in. It was Ken's segment also, so this works out beautiful. And so Adriana's question, and then we got Dali's question, and let's keep it to 30 seconds each, please.
So, absolutely. So, Adriana, your question was a little bit about sort of the future, right? And in terms of how to balance everything. I think that what we really need is a bold two-pronged strategy. Right now, we're focused a lot on defending democracy, as we should be, but we need to give people a pathway forward where they can feel hopeful. So certainly economic, but also that they feel that there's equal opportunity, right? You were driving a little bit about the DEI, and sometimes they say, let's not worry about the words, because I've lived through cycles to hear it called multicultural, DEI, diversity. Let's focus on the intent. What is the intent? The intent is that everybody, from the moment that they enter into this world, right? It doesn't matter what age you are. Everybody should have equal access to opportunity, whether it's education, whether it's healthcare, whether it's later in their life as jobs. So that's really what we're trying to do with what the DEI efforts were. I'm not so worried about whether the government says that they like or don't like DEI, because really what I see everywhere is that people like it. People understand it's the right thing to do. We should be making sure that people have access to healthcare, that the little children have pre-K and educational opportunities, and that we're supporting families. I believe in and adding the layer of socioeconomic diversity, right? We need to make sure that all families, no matter what's in your bank account, we need to make sure that you feel that there's an opportunity. This is America. This is a land of opportunity and dreams. People, I hear every single day, and I'm an immigrant, right? My parents came here when I was 6. Every single day, I hear about how people have overcome adversity to succeed. And that adversity could be your bank balance, it could be your race, it could be your religion, it could be your gender, it could be anything, doesn't matter. We need to make sure that everybody feels included, that everybody feels hope, and that everybody feels they have a fair chance. So I think that's on us as people. We don't need a government to tell us how to do that.
Sunny, that's what I keep on saying whenever I get a chance to speak, that it is government of the people, by the
Yes.
people, for the
Thank you.
people. And those
Absolutely.
people are us, not those that are sitting up there and telling us what to do and then taking over and breaking the every single covenant of the Constitution. Dali, I'll get you the final word. If you got a question for Sunny, please chime in, and then we'll take phone calls from the listeners. It's 8:30. It's going to be our segment from sponsored by Ray Hanania, which is what's on your mind, so that we can ask our listeners to also chime in and share their thoughts. Go ahead, Ali.
Yeah, hi, nice to meet
Hi.
you.
Nice to meet you.
So my question is more about the like gender affirming care and the gender that you were talking about. So with some states that are passing laws that restrict queer curriculum and like mandate adding transgender students, what is your plan, your personal plan to protect the queer community in and the queer students in schools?
Absolutely. And so the first thing I think we need to do is an advocacy education program, depoliticize it, right? We have allowed a group of people to become a political football. That's wrong. And we need to make sure everybody has the protections, the medical care that they need, and that we're following the science and we're following what they need and what their families suggest. I think that just like all parts of education, We have people in this country with questionable intent who are using all of that as a political football. So I would say, let's protect everyone. Let's make sure that they have access to what they need. But more importantly, to Ken's point earlier, education. I'm a loud voice for saying, let's dial down the rhetoric. Let's get rid of the politicization of these issues, and let's let people be who they wish to be. Most Americans actually agree with that, right? People know they live next to somebody who may have a different political persuasion, but they're perfectly fine to let people live their best lives. So let's not let the extremes, especially online, trigger us. As for the states, I think federal laws will be a way to be able to overcome that. But it comes with building bridges with people to say, let's not let these issues get politicized. Let's find common ground, and let's make sure that we are inclusive and humane to everybody. Everybody should feel that they're included and represented.
Sounds good,
Thank you.
Sheila. Sorry, we
Yeah,
took over most of your time with Sunny over here now.
you
Okay.
know, I just had a question about, how would you improve communications and transparency with residents? Because a lot of people don't trust the government. They don't trust Congress. They don't trust the Supreme Court. So how can you kind of bring back some improved communications and transparency with the residents in your district? Because people just don't have faith anymore.
Yeah, I agree with you fully. That is a very good question. It's a very important point. I am out talking to people, and as I like to say, I'll talk to anybody who will talk to me. I don't care how you voted last year. I don't care what political party you are, because that's how we create community, and that's how we sort of really come together as neighbors.
Mhm.
But structurally, I'm a writer, I'm a communicator, so weekly newsletters. I will always pledge to have regular town halls. At the minimum, I would do monthly, but I would look to be doing more on Zoom on a weekly basis, issues based. I also want to hear, and I'm already doing this out in my district, I'm doing listening. I'm doing coffees with Sanjyot everywhere. I want to hear what people are concerned about. What are their priorities? What are their hopes? I think it's very important as an elected representative. I'm representing the people. I'm certainly going to be representing the people in my district, but also Illinois, and also people in America. So I think that we need to make sure that we stay in touch with one another, that we're talking, it's not all digital, that we are making an effort to listen as well.
You know, it's so important. Sanjot Junji is running on District 8. She's running for freedom, security, and trust. We need to bring this back into our local government. So, Sanjot, I thank you for being our special guest today on the lightning strike. And you definitely put some lightning out there for us on this morning. So we thank you for being our special
Well, all
guest
the
today.
best, Sunny. All the best. I know it's a crowded field, and the party, the mother hens in the party, are trying to bring in a former congresswoman who lost to a Republican into the race. These people are never going to, to wake up and smell the roses. And I want to have this message go straight to the party leadership, folks. Wake up. Okay,
Mhm.
bring in people with new ideas. If you want the country to progress, please stop this bringing in people that you want to foist on top of the people, because
Yes.
it's a government, and I want to repeat it, of the people, by the people, for the people, not by the party bigwigs and for the party bigwigs. Sanjay, thank you so much for joining us, folks. This is the